Oh, what the hell, folks? It's a few seconds early, but what do you say we light this candle? How's everybody doing tonight? John Stanley, Shelby, Shupsy, how y'all doing tonight, man? Hey, Neil, how you doing, buddy? By the way, if Gunny Z finds his way into the chat here, I got him covered. So, how's my audio coming across, by the way? Oh, never mind. Oops. Forgive me, y'all. I'm new. Be gentle. It's my first time. But anyway, so the original plan for Thursday night's temple video, that kind of got shit canned and tossed out the window because somehow I lost about 75% of the ride footage from this past weekend when we went to Orlando. And I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened to it. So here we go. We had a slight delay, if you will, in the plan for last night. On account of the rain and everything that came through. If you guys that were on the Patreon, y'all saw the videos I put up there. We went wading in 7th Avenue Creek for a little bit last night, helping people get out of their cars. It was kind of interesting to say the least. Connor, welcome in, buddy. How you doing, man? Brother Buck, how are you, dude? I look forward to seeing your smiling face down here come October, son. Mr. Jim Reynolds, how you doing, sir? Troll Cop? So, what I had in mind here, if you guys got something that's just burning a hole in your brain or you just absolutely can't stand it anymore, hit me up. You got questions? Hey, I'm an open book. First time I've ever done this shit, so what the hell? Let's go ahead and get it out of the way while we can. Hey, Georgia Hillbilly. Didn't see you when you popped in, brother. Oh. How long have I been a motorcycle mechanic? Too damn long, I can tell you that. No, actually, my first paying job was pushing a broom in a bike shop called Wheeler Kawasaki Suzuki in Portsmouth, Arkansas. I was the young tender age of 12, and I was there at Wheeler for 4 years, and then I jumped over to the Honda shop there in Fort Smith for about a year and a half, and then I got the brilliant idea. You know what? I want to work on cars. Yeah, cars are cool. They got 4 wheels, and there's more money in that. Man, honestly, that was a bullshit lie I told myself when I was young and dumb. But I always did bike work in the shop, here at the house, and at mom and dad's whenever I was still living with them before me and the wife unit got together and we had kids and we had to grow up and be responsible and shit. But yeah, all totaled up, man. I mean, I've been doing it for about 35 years now, give or take. Mr. Mercer, hey, not a problem at all on your triumph here, man. Anything I can do to help you out, just give me a shout, dude. Mr. Allen from Pittsburgh, welcome in. Rocket 3 Roadster that squirts fuel when started. What do you mean squirts fuel? Like it's spraying it out the side from underneath the gas tank or what? I need a little bit more to go off of there, Jim. ADHD Moto. It's called a helicoil kit, Bubba. You're gonna be looking for one that's for half by 20 thread pitch, if memory serves right. But that already gets you squared away on that. The Teflon tape, that was just plug up the hole to hold the plug in the case on the thing. That way they could get it sold. All right. Somebody put a few too many ugga duggas on that plug when they put it in the last time or two. She's over here playing numbers games with me, y'all. I had to do math in my head, and that hurt. Mr. Mercer, thank you. I appreciate you showing up and saying, hey. Hey, Robert, how you doing? It's all good, man. It's not like we're trying to hide. I mean, you can find us pretty much anywhere you look, or at least maybe I hope. Valve lash on a V rod, Mr. Allen. Oh yeah, I have. I've actually gone through that painful process a grand total of 2 times. And both times, because you got to drop the motor down out of the chassis to be able to get the rocker box covers off to get down in there and measure it, they didn't need nothing. So that whole 20,000 mile, service interval that Harley puts out there, that's a bunch of crap. All right. The big thing you need to look for, if it's hard starting when it's cold, like first thing in the morning, or if it's cold outside, if it's real hard starting and it's kind of fouling plugs and shit like that, and then after it warms up, gets a little heat in it and starts, clearing out and running good, that's your sign that your valves on the intake side are tightening up because they're sucking up into the head. They won't get loose and rattly like everybody assumes they do. John Udenauer. Well, brother, I'm gonna tell you the best way to do it. Go find you a clapped out old beater, start fixing it, fix it when it breaks again, then fix it some more, try to make it better, and then try to do it without spinning yourself blind in the process. That's always a plus. But the thing is, that's how you learn the hands on part of it. And you kind of progress forward and you build a skill set from there. Thing is, don't take everything that you read as gospel right off the rip, because that's a big reason why I'm doing what I'm doing here. For every one little good info bit of information that's out there on the interwebs floating around right now, there's 50 pieces. It's just absolute shit. And you got to be able to sift the value from the bullshit. So there you go, man. DJ Spencer, breath of fresh air from the sports bikes enthusiasts who don't think older bikes exist. Wow. Dude, uh, I I don't care what it is. If it's got 2 wheels, I'm into it. Now there's minor caveats there, okay? Um, Urals, yeah, we'll stop there. I know they got 3 wheels, but it's kind of a gray area, all right? ZR7S had fuel EGR ripped out, fuel hoses flapping and leaking. I tell you what, on that one, message me over on the Patreon, and if you can, throw me some pics in there. That way I can see what you're talking about, because I may have to do a little bit of homework on that one. Because honestly, that's one that we don't see very often because it just wasn't that popular of a bike, at least in this area. Yeah. Well, Alan, if you've only got 26 clicks on, or 26,000 on it right now, and it's popping off real good for you, don't worry about it, man. Change your oil on the regular. Use something that's got a high zinc content in it, or use a zinc additive, because that will slow down the process of valve recession. Yeah, yeah. No kidding there, corn pop. Yeah, no lie there, Shepsy. There's info out there, and there's info plenty, but it's up to you to figure out whether it's useful or if it's total bullshit. Brother Buck, this is all natural and it stays. Sorry, son, I got to pass on that one. Uh, Mad Yankee on that one. That mode switch on your left handlebar switches. Um, Dude, you might open it up and see if it's got a little bit of green and furry in there, and maybe hit it with a little bit of steel wool or a little bit of off. But past that, that may be something in the software of the gauge itself, because I remember they had a couple of software updates for the Scouts way back when. I'm a little fuzzy there, but I remember they had a couple of downloads. It was a software patch for the speedometers on those things. Let's see here. Can I convert Ugga Duggas to gorilla grunts? No, I do not have a banana for scale. Next question, please.
Lies.
What?
Lies.
Lives?
You grunt well.
Well, she ain't wrong. Now, do I have a favorite motorcycle brand to work on? Well, not really. Basically, it's the one that gives me the least amount of bullshit. So, as much Honda stuff as I do, there's a lot of times where I just want to fix all my problems with a 5-gallon bucket of diesel fuel and a road flare. But Honda going to Honda. And that's the way it is. Oh, let's see here. 200cc Honda clones from China. Read that again real slow. Clones from China. The metallurgy just ain't there. I mean, you can take a Honda Trail 50 that's been stuck in somebody's, carport for 50 years, clean the carburetor on it, put some fresh gas in it. That damn thing's going to pop off and run. You can go buy a brand new Honda clone motor, from one of the Chicom importers, and it might run for a little bit, and then it'll stop because the valves suck up into the head because they're made out of peanut butter. Scott Spencer, good on you, man. The old Voyager 12s, those things are a workhorse, man. My neighbor's actually got one. He was farting around with it last year, I think, and he was kind of having some carb problems, but he kind of walked away from it for a little bit there, so I think he's taking a break. Kevin Thomas on your Fat Boy with an S&S. One thing that I've noticed, depending on what ignition you've got in that thing, if you've got a Crane HI4 ignition in there, that would be where I would start because we've been seeing a lot of those things being very temperature sensitive. And one thing about the S&S motors, they got that big old honking, chonking, billet nose cone on them. That thing retains a lot of heat, man. I would start looking there because your module may be getting overheated and it may be checking out from that. Shupsy, I love you, brother, but kissing ass to her, that ain't gonna get you nowhere.
It will.
Well, maybe it will. But yeah, you got that right, Neil. Let's see here. Approximately 3.5 around base. It was that before or after they, yeah, it's Yingling. This is kind of my go-to. Whoa, what was that? Somebody in the neighborhood is here popping off fireworks right now. I live in a weird part of town. Or maybe a transformer. Who knows? Sportster Speedo from fogging up. Yeah, count telephone poles because man, if you're in a humid area like we are right now, I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you, my speedometer on my roadie ain't working 6 months, okay, and I really don't spend that much time looking at my speedometer because I'm looking at all the people around me that are trying to kill me. So the speedos, as far as fogging up goes, if you're feeling adventurous, take it apart and get some of that Rain-X anti-fog slime and clean the hell out of the inside of the lens. Butter it down with 2 or 3 coats of that stuff. Something I found that actually helps that stuff kind of build up a film to make it last longer. Take a hairdryer and kind of heat the lens after you put that stuff on there kind of heavy before you buff it off. And then that'll kind of help build up a layer. Do that a couple, 3 times, and it'll hang in there for a good bit. See here, fork seals on FZ6. Those are cake, bro. You ain't gonna get into any surprises on those. I mean, those are pretty straightforward and simple. Yeah, but the thing is, if go west of the Arkansas or go west of the Mississippi River and try buying a Yingling, you're going to have a tough time there. Yeah, you ain't kidding there, Buck. Mr. G, how are you this evening, sir? Hey, what's up, Indigenous Steve? Glad to see you finally made it in, brother. Yeah, y'all can pick on me all you want. I don't care. Before I got on my Yingling Jag here, my go to was
MGD.
well, no, MGD was kind of like the standby, since
I'm worried
high
about
school.
you with
Amberbach,
MGD.
Amberbach, yeah.
You're welcome. I introduced you to Amberbach.
Did you?
I did.
Uh, Gray hair, putting up with her shit for 27 years now. Things get blurry. Well, yeah, you guys drink silver bullets in Colorado. Duh. I mean, that they stretch a nipple on the can on that shit and give it to you in the crib out there. All right, that's like the state beer.
Come here.
Uh, well, I mean, most of the time I don't ever look at the speedometer because I'm looking at all the idiots that are trying to kill me. Hell, I had a plastic bag try to take my ass out on the way to work yesterday morning, and that was before Tropical Storm Ebor happened. I thought I'm driving along the highway and that shit got sucked up in my front wheel. I thought I missed it because I saw it in my rearview mirror. Well, a chunk of it got wound up around the front brake rotor, and a little bit later down the road, some chucklehead pulls over into my lane, and so I grab a handful of front brake, and it's not there. It comes all the way back to the handlebar, and I'm like, butthole went like that, and then I spent the next 10 minutes pulling that crap out of the brake caliper on the side of the road with my pocket knife. Wheel alignment and spacer making. Yeah, man, we can definitely jump on that. Actually, we can touch on that a little bit with the Tetanus Express back here because I got to shift the front wheel over just a little bit because it's a little bit cattywampus right now. But yeah, man, we'll definitely hit on some of that. I mean, after all the crap I went through putting the Harley touring wheels on my Roadstar with the Cush drive and all that shit on the Harley rear wheel, yeah, that took some math there. My head kind of hurt after that. How did me and Shade Tree meet? Well, if you guys remember a couple of years ago, it's been about 4 years ago now, something like that. Uh, the Ducati dealership told him that they found a chunk of a piston ring in his oil when they changed his oil in his multistrada. And he come over to the ride factory, and actually he was hitting Shelby up. Shelby, you remember this shit? Uh, I'd met Josh once before in passing for about 12 seconds, and that was that. This was pretty soon after I first started working at the ride factory. And I overheard him telling Shelby, yeah, they told me that this was a piece of a piston ring. And I'm like, what? Let me see that. I saw that damn thing. I'm like, and I started laughing right then and there. So over the course of the next 5 minutes, I gave him enough information to go back to the dealership in question and tell them basically they were full of shit and they needed to get their shit together because there wasn't no way in hell that was a piston ring. But yeah, that's kind of what kicked it off, you know. Yeah, Teflon line brake pads. You ain't lying there, dude. It wasn't that they just wasn't grabbing. They were it spread the pads open in the caliper from that plastic bag getting jammed up in the brake caliper. And when I went to squeeze the lever, I had to pump that thing like 3 or 4 times before it actually started building up any pressure. Chrome stripper. Um, well, step one, you find you a single Venezuelan chick in the 22 to 26 year age range that's new to the country and hard up for cash. What? I'm
That's
getting,
not right.
I'm getting a look from over here. It's not a good one.
That is so not right.
Hey, Dan, how are you doing? Well, that little piece that they were showing Josh that they were trying to pawn off as a piston ring, what it was a chunk of a bearing retainer ring. And I pulled up the parts diagram on the motor on his bike, and the only bearing retainer ring that was anywhere near in the crankcase area was for the counterbalance shaft, where it went in between the two, or where it went in between the V of the cylinders. So somebody at the factory in Bologna, it was probably a built on Monday thing. They broke a chunk of it off, and then they tried to blow smoke up his ass over in Tampa with that. Oh yeah, dude, you can do rocker box gaskets on an FXR with motor and the frame easy. I mean, it takes a stubby 3/16 Allen wrench. I ain't gonna lie. Go find you a cheap one and hit it with a whiz wheel. Chop it down to whatever length you need. But past that, dude, it's gravy. Mr. G, if I could stretch that out to 2 times a month, that would be great for me. Around here driving in the greater Tampa, oh my God, cesspool traffic area, it usually averages out about 2 times every 48 hours. Stouts are okay every now and then. It's kind of a mood thing for me. Whenever we go to Disney, we always go to Epcot and we stop over in Germany. They're uh, uh, the dunkel that they have over there. That's my go-to. I don't care if we're stopping there for food. I'll just walk up to the little beer shack. Give me the big one. Thank you, fat boy happy, and I proceed. I appreciate that, Mr. Wamsley. How are you doing this evening? Any mods to your KLR to make more power? What kind of KLR you got? You got a 650, a 300, 250? What do you got? I'm sorry, I'm looking weird, okay? I'm older than shit, and my damn eyeballs don't work as good as they used to. Okay, you got a KLR 650. Tell you right now, Google Sportster carb swap for KLR 650. It's not really that you're going to make more power total per se, but what you pick up out of it, you get an accelerator pump out of it. It makes it a hell of a lot more responsive, and it's a lot more snappy off the bottom. So it kind of gives you a placebo effect where it feels like it's got a lot more ass to it. It's just, it really doesn't, but you don't have the throttle lag from a CV carb that doesn't have an accelerator pump. And the thing is, it's so close to a straight bolt-in swap, man, it ain't even funny. Appreciate that, Brother Buck. Just be I don't want to know what you guys hit the like thingy with. Okay, those are details I can live without. Reevaluating life choices because of an ironhead tranny. Let me guess, you're fighting with the shift quadrant, ain't you? I've been down that road. Oh, dude, don't even talk to me about Everclear. We're going to have to dive deep into some high school era stuff that I really don't want to unpack. There was more than a few times we'd wake up out in the middle of the woods and go, "How in the fuck did we get here? Holy shit! Where's my pants?" Just to give you a heads up on that carb swap 420, if you get one of the clone carbs off of eBay, dude, you can pick those things up for $50 new in the box. Do yourself a favor. A lot of them don't come with a choke cable and stuff. go ahead and get the one. It's like another $5, but go ahead and get the one that comes with the choke cable, because then you can do away with your choke up on the handlebars and stuff. And you can make a little tab to where it's right underneath the edge of the gas tank, and you just reach down there and there it is, and it's out of the way. Makes things a lot simpler. Steve Woo Pig Suey, man, I ain't heard that in a minute. I remember Barnhill Arena, if you know what I'm talking about there. Mm-hmm. You mean 1100 V Star starter clutch? If that's what you're meaning, yep. Been there a time or 17. I'll get to you here in a couple days, and I just had some old shit I had to get out of the way. I promise you. Oh, and by the way, tell Jack that I need him to get me those airbox boots that go from the airbox to the back of the carburetors. I ain't got them. If he needs me to get them, no big deal. I just need to know. Road sixes. Hmm. Man, off the top of my head, I don't know, because we don't see that many 400s in this area. We get them once in a blue moon, but not enough where I got them programmed. You know what I mean? Um, hit me up on Patreon tomorrow just to jog my memory, and I'll do some digging into the books at the shop and see posting up. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna have to look on that because I ain't got a parts book here in front of me right here right now. Old drumstick every 3K. Honestly, no, because this is the way I explain it to my customers. Oil's cheap, motors ain't. There, I said what I said. Now that being said, I don't run a real high zoot, high speed, expensive oil in my stuff. I mean, hell, y'all have seen me dump Rotella 1540 diesel oil in damn near everything I got. Thing is, on
Like a diesel yet?
on your M8 that you got, the big thing there, Harley's schedule. You know, I think it's like what 20,000 on a transmission or something asinine like that. Yeah, no, that's a quick way to have to spend a lot of money on parts, man. I mean, you can stretch it out and do all three holes every 5K. You'll be totally good with that. But I mean, you ain't hurting nothing by doing them every three. Let's put it this way: it'll be damn clean on the inside. I'll promise you that. It's okay, Motor Radical. I ain't looking for stickers to put on my love me wall or something like this. I do this shit because I enjoy it, man.
Clean on the inside, like a colonoscopy?
We're not going there. This is a family show, sort of.
Okay.
Dobby tires on a street bike. You talking about on this thing? Well, yeah, it's a street bike, but it may see street, gravel, sand, dirt, decaying flesh of zombies, the occasional barricade. You know, I mean, hey, if times get tough and I'm in a sketchy part of town and I want to pull that damn thing inside of the room of the Motel 6 I just happen to be staying at, guess what? It's going there. Oh, Skittles. Me and Big Bald, we were out there waiting hip deep literally hip deep in the middle of Seventh Avenue, helping people get out of their cars. We've seen a couple of cars floating down Seventh Avenue.
New ducks.
Huh?
New ducks.
New ducks?
Yeah.
Well, but
No
no, seriously, it came into the shop just a little bit, like not in the main part of the building, but that ramp where you go in, you know, there at the front doors where we bring bikes in. It came up there. I mean, the water mark was about a foot up above ground level on the doors leading into the shop. Well, it's kind of a family show. I mean, she's over here, you know, shit talking me off camera,
I
and
mean, we made a family.
yeah, we made a family. Well,
Yes,
we procreated, okay.
it takes effort.
Lots and lots of strenuous recreational effort. Oh, we're not done with get the hell out of Dodge Sporty here, okay? There's going to be a little bit of luggage involved by the time I'm calling this thing done. Hey, Robert, I appreciate that, man. Track life, how you doing in the land down under there, brother? Dark side. One word, no. I will not put a car tire on a motorcycle, period. Unless it says Goodyear on the side and it's about that fucking wide going on the back of a drag bike. That's the only way. Anything else, hard no, hard stop. I said what I said. Yeah, the Domino's guy, man, I wish I would have got my phone and got a video of that because that guy was big balling. I mean, that guy was just like, I gotta go. That was awesome. Oh, dude. The only thing about living in Colorado, you guys got snow and the blizzards and all that stuff. We had to deal with that shit in northwest Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, but we didn't get snow. We got a bunch of freezing rain and sleet and ice storms. So what would happen, it would drop ice, glaze everything over with a couple of inches, and it would drop, a little pebbly slush on top of everything. Then you get this little poof of snow right on the ass end of it where it looked pretty for about 6 hours, and then everything would melt and turn into a giant mudslog. What?
Shop child, Jesus. I can't believe that's a thing.
We're not going to go into detail on Shop Rag Jesus. I mean, Shop Rag Jesus is obviously an overseer, and he's on Overwatch here in the garage, keeping me from injuring myself too severely. But it's not like grilled cheese Jesus from a couple of years ago. Okay, I mean, it's just not that special. All right, thanks, Skittles. I appreciate that, hon. Victory Vision. Um, Well, being as I'm Victory certified tech, and yeah, I'm kind of the Victory guy at the Ride Factory. You remember that movie Ted? What was that line? Oh yeah, Death to Ming. That's the first thing that pops in my head every time I see one. They're comfortable. Don't get me wrong. They ride good. It's just God, they're bizarre looking, man. I mean, that's kind of like the end result if Willie G and H.R. Geiger sit down, smoked a big old bowl, and then start scribbling on a cocktail napkin somewhere, say, hey, let's build a motorcycle. No, brother, Shop Rack Jesus ain't hanging on the wall. Actually, I think he's over on the lift somewhere still. Yeah, you got that right, Chris W. 48 power poles, that ain't no lie. We were driving down the main drag in Salisaw one year when we had a real bad ice storm, and we were keeping track with transformers blowing on the street next to us. Right when we get even with them, just pow, 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 one after another. It was wild, dude. It looked like the laser show at a Pink Floyd concert.
2000. That was the winter of 2000.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Because Aaron was born in 01.
No. That was the winter of 01.
That was Christmas night.
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right. See, I can't remember shit. That's why I keep Rolodex over here. Vulcan 900 overhaul, like a motor rebuild? Is that what you're talking about? Because honestly, yeah, unless you got like 80,000 miles plus, that's not really something you should be having to consider right now. I'm glad you like your vision, man. Hey, if it's your brand of weird and it, blows your skirt up, more power to you, brother. I ain't hating on it. It's just not my thing. Oh, got a tank derusting. So what what's your problem on your tank, Bubba? Your message got cut off there. Oh my God, Wayne Oswald, you are originally from Salisaw? Wow, dude. When'd you leave?
Jason Busey too.
Yeah, Salisaw, Oklahoma, Jason. Yeah, we lived there from.
8 years.
Yeah, well, we lived there 8 years.
Wild Horse Mountain Barbecue, anyone?
Yeah, no lie, man. I miss me some Wild Horse. That's the best damn barbecue you'll ever put in your mouth, hands down. Yeah, I agree with you. With humidity should be banned because it right now, as much rain as it's dropped over the last couple of days, and as hot as it's been, because it's been getting into the mid 90s during the day. Every time you walk outside, it's like walking face first into a used bath towel that you found hanging up in your stepmom's bathroom right after the new pool boy just mysteriously left out the back door. Mr. Travis Kyle, yeah, that was a Gen 3 Magna that you saw in that short. And Bubba, there's some gas tanks out there, but honestly, eBay is going to be your best bet. I'll tell you another place that you might want to check into, though. Um, uh, God, it's called Odom Cycle Salvage, and they are in Southern Kentucky. Hit me up on the Patreon because I've got his phone number, and all my junk crap at the shop and everything. I've dealt with him for a long time, but he tends to sit on some weird and obscure stuff up there. It was very specific because I have a specifically random thought process. Hey man, it is what it is. Dude, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to move down here, more power to you. We'll welcome you with open arms. But, brother, you might want to look at what housing and shit costs before you pull the trigger on it because it has gotten expensive since COVID. It is stupid down here nowadays. Man, that coating that's coming off your muffler, honestly, your best bet is check around in your area to see if somebody does either high temperature powder coating. Yes, there is a high temperature powder coat. Its working threshold tops out at about 550 degrees, though. So I don't know how well it would work on a muffler. It does good on heat shields, but on a muffler itself, I'm not sure. Or you can either do jet hot or Cerakote. My only gripe against Cerakote, it started out as a gun coating. I wouldn't know about that, but uh, it Cerakote is really, really soft and it scratches stupid easy. It just it doesn't have enough hardness to it. You got that right, Skittles. I am in full agreement with you there. Baby, you ain't got to whisper. You can talk.
Cost of living everywhere is crazy.
Well, yeah. But like especially around here, man. I mean, it's got some rust off. Uh okay. Don't use vinegar in the tank because vinegar is a pretty acidic, pretty aggressive acid. Um, it may not seem it, but it is. Probably what you're running into. Number one, what kind of a power source are you using? Are you using just like a 10 amp battery charger? Also, number two, what you're using for a sacrificial anode, as it builds up that layer of crap on there, that's going to reduce the amount of current that will be transmitted through your electrolytic solution. So every now and then you got to pull that out and knock the crap off of it, hit it with a wire brush, whatever, because the more that shit builds up, it starts turning into an insulator. Yeah, you ain't lying there, man. I mean, Cerakote, you can touch it and you can see where your finger was practically. And it's weird, but certain colors, certain pigments, even if it's the same batch of chemical on Cerakote or the same family, some of that stuff is significantly softer and less tolerant of handling than others are. Like their OD green, I mean, you can literally just drag your fingernail down it and it'll leave a white line in it. Yeah, Dick and Dave, if you want to come by the Ride Factory, we got some new T-shirts in that some new designs with the new Rocket Man stuff. I don't have one here I could show you, but we got all kinds of stuff there. If you're going to be stopping in, give me a shout. I may have something that I could bring up there with me if you want me to. You've seen what I got right now. I mean, this is a small production, folks. We do this crap out of the craft room in our house. So I actually like that barbecue paint. Some of that stuff ain't bad. It actually works really good. Duplicolor makes a ceramic epoxy type of exhaust paint, and it's got to have heat to cure. If you got a way to heat your part, I mean, if you can get away with it, throw it in the barbecue grill on low. But if you got a way to heat it to cure it, that stuff actually cures out pretty damn rock hard, man. It's pretty good stuff. Hey, Jack, what's happening, brother? Humidity. Yeah, you got that right. Okay. Well, as far as de-rusting your stuff goes, like I said, number one, check your anode that you're using. Also, you might check your ground because if you've had a little bit of solution spill over out of the tank, if it got on the ground, that can actually compromise the ground, and you're not going to get as much current flow. But usually, what I always do is I'll take a cup of baking soda per gallon of hot water, mix it up real good, and that's what I mix it at. And like if I'm using a 10 amp charger per se, usually 2 days tops, even on a real grubby one, it'll have it all knocked out of there. But keep in mind you got to check your anode occasionally because as stuff gets plated to the anode, all the rust and the gnarly looking shit, it's just not going to conduct as well. Well, Dave, like I said, starting out, I started pushing a broom in a Kawasaki Suzuki shop when I was 12, and the whole pitch there was, me and my dad, we bought a couple of bikes from the owner, and I walked in there one day and I'm like, hey, I'd like to learn how to do this stuff, and if you let me hang around for a little bit, you ain't got to pay me, I just want to learn, and it kind of went from there. But Tom sponsored me through the Kawasaki Factory Tech School when they, back in the day when they used to send everybody up to their plant up in York, Pennsylvania. I was there for 8 weeks, and this was in between. This was during the summer in between school years, my freshman and sophomore year of high school, and then the next year, between my sophomore and junior year of high school, I went to Suzuki school for 6 weeks, and then I just kind of followed along from there, man. Never went to MMI or anything like that. My granddad bought me an enrollment to that ICS, correspondence course class, and somebody that had zero knowledge of it, it actually had some good information, but we're talking 30 years ago, man. And a lot of their stuff they had, it literally looked like you were reading a old 60s era Triumph shop manual, because it was very heavily influenced. You could tell it was very heavily influenced by the British manufacturers. But past that, just doing it and digging it and, you know, just doing our thing, man. Lost track of how many factory service update courses I'd had to go to, throughout the years working at various dealerships. But, there's also like, I'm one of these people, if I'm curious about something, I'll go digging for it and I'll go looking for it and figure it out. So, yeah, you just, You got to be kind of a nerd, I guess. Do I have a chain that I like more than the others? Well, y'all know me. I'm a cheap bastard. Uh, Honestly, the best bang for the buck right now is the Parts Unlimited branded chains. They're actually made under contract for Parts Unlimited by EK. You can get them O-ring, you can get them X-ring. Uh, Good stuff, man. We used to run these things on mini sprints, and they'd run all season long. We never had a failure on one. That's what I use on the biggest majority of all the service stuff that comes into the shop. And bang for the buck, it's hard to beat. The the Amazon chain that we bought to put on this thing, ah, not a fan on that, and I really don't think that was probably the best choice. But I haven't had a chance to run it yet, see how it does. But I'm not really holding my breath on it neither. So we may end up having to do a little upgrading there. I know you're a nerd. I call you a nerd. You're my lovable nerd. It, this or this, because those carry two different distinct meanings.
Well, one is okay, the other is not enough.
Well, usually one of them's for you and the other one's for the horse you rode in on. See, that's a very odd frame of reference for me. When you say that we're so far up north, I'm like, dude. Yeah, and see, that's the bad part, man. You got a lot of guys that are programmed and invested by the dealerships that they work at, and it's just, it's one of those things. Why are you keeping it to yourself? Is it really going to do you any good, man? Help a brother out. How did I come up with my logo? Well,
You're welcome.
me and the wife, kind of spitballed some ideas back and forth, and I threw some shit into AI generator, and we're like, yeah, that looks good, yeah, that looks okay. Oh hell no, that looks like a Rorschach test pattern, and then finally we landed on something that stuck. So totally random and extremely low effort, high speed, low drag. I don't know, mom. Mom may be watching this. If she is, hi mom, how you doing? I love you.
Love you, Mom.
Amanda says hi.
Oh, Wayne.
TX500. Man, I'd have to dig into the memory bank on that because I'm not exactly sure that I remember what the tank on that bike looks like right now. I'm thinking it looks kind of like that. Do you mean an XT500? Because a lot of those had that little thin, skinny, kind of long, looked like a folded over taco shell slimline tank, kind of like the old DT 175 and DT 250s had on them. Dega Dave, um, I will make an inquiry and I will get back to you. How did I end up in Salisal? Oh boy.
So you bet on a roulette wheel and
No.
chose orange.
No.
And what was it? A gypsy with a milky eye?
No. No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No. Actually, a little bit after high school, I went to work for a Napa Auto Care Center that was in Van Buren, Arkansas. And the owner there, he built a location in Salisal. And when they were building that, I went out there to get the shop set up and running. And I was out there for about 6 months or so until they got it going. And then, they hired a guy to, be the general manager full time. So I went back to the shop in Arkansas. And some sketchy shit was going on and a lot of stuff turned up missing. So I went back out there. The owner asked me to go back out there. I went back out there and kind of got to looking around, and I called the owner up. I'm like, hey, Bubba, me and you need to have a talk. And coincidentally, that night, that dude skipped town. We went out to his place. And it looked like he packed with a quickness because when we got there, the front door was standing wide open. There was shit all strewed about. He lit out of town, which is probably a good thing because that boy would have done some jail time if he had. We're talking some significant numbers here. Hang on a sec. I gotta look. I gotta look up here. Questions are rolling faster than I can keep up because I'm slow like that. Favorite flavor, Loctite. Yeah. Purple. Purple's good. Purple's great. GRAP. Great. Oh man, best starter bike as far as ease of beginning mechanic and manageable engine that will still go on the highway and might be bulletproof-ish. Well, sure. Obviously, if you've watched the Ram with Park series, you've seen the 750 Honda shitbox sitting here next to me that we're putting together for my son for his first bike. Those things are pretty solid, man. I ain't gonna lie, and honestly, that's why I kind of steered him into that. If you're a short of inseam type person, basically, if you're a incognito midget where you're anywhere from 4'8" to 5'2", 650 V-Star will be right up your alley. They're simple, they're easy to maintain, they're air cooled. They can do highway, but about 75 is about where they cap out at because they're really low geared. Yeah, the Rad Factory is on the outskirts of Tampa. There, mad scientists. We're in Ybor City. We're in with the party crowd. Yeah. Well,
James Joyce is amazing.
yeah, James Joyce Pub, man. I actually ate lunch there today. Good shit.
Did you bring me home?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I need you to go back and tell Chris I need my Reuben egg rolls and whatever cider he has from Jill's Farm.
All right, well, you're shit out of luck on that. You got a phone, use it.
Fine.
Hey, dude.
Shit.
Graceful, he ain't. I'm telling you that right now. He come by that honest.
That's my gene.
Are you doing a live stream?
Yeah. Yeah, the ride footage from last weekend, most of it just poop vanished. So figure what the hell, we'll give it a shot.
Oh crap.
But yeah, best starter bike, Boss Hoss. Okay, dude, pull my other leg. All right, this one's getting tired.
So I just got back from Swiftly activities.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Got to practice neutral buoyancy.
Okay. My son is taking classes right now on prolonged drowning, scuba diving, if you must know. But let's see here, starter bike. Yeah, I'll agree with you. Anything with a kicker, because you'll learn when it's right, and you'll damn sure know when it's wrong. John, you're paying there, man. Our internet was all over the place the other day.
Not squeeze past you.
Oh, sorry. Here, have a burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Sun unit. That's our young one. Our daughter, the eldest Frog, she's a couple years older than him, but she's small, like
I have
small.
picture proof that she is smaller than both Tinkerbell and Vanellope.
Yeah, my wife's a Disney nerd. Can you tell?
Now checking out the gear tomorrow, then heading on up to place to stay a couple nights over at the guys.
Well, it's not like it's a fancy burrito or anything, John. I mean, what are they, Old El Paso or something? It's one of those where you get them frozen. There's like 10 of them in a package. You pay $3 at the grocery store for. That's like low effort food. Throw that shit in the oven, let it cook for 20 minutes. There you go. Eat and be happy. Greatest era for motorcycles? Dude, it's got to be. I mean, for me, I would say about a 20-year swath between the very early 70s to the mid 90s. The new stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong, from a technical aspect, yeah, the new stuff's awesome, but it just ain't got the soul that some of the old shit had, man. I mean, that's a big reason why I jumped on the Eliminator like I did, man. I mean, that was just the coolest fucking thing in the world to me when I was, a dumb shit teenager, and I finally got a chance to buy one, and I'm like, hell yeah, shut up, take my money. Oh, dude, I'm 47. I'm coming up on 48. Now, I mean, we did everything backwards. Dave, on tank liner stuff, I've used cream for basically since 3 days before God, and it works, and it will stay. It does have longevity to it. The key using any kind of a tank liner product, especially cream, you have got to do your prep work and you got to do it correctly. There's not any corners that you can cut there. You got to get all the rust out. Then you got to rinse everything out. You got to get it clean and clear. Then you have to degrease it with the cream kits. They give you that little bottle of tank prep. All it is methyl ethyl ketone. That stuff is like uber deadly on paint. Denatured alcohol, like you buy in the paint section at Lowe's, it does the same job, but it's nowhere near as brutal on your paint. And still, it's a good idea to take like some fogging oil or WD-40 and spray on all of your painted surfaces, and leave a film of that on there just in case. But I mean, the cream stuff works. It'll discolor a little bit after it gets 8-10 years on it. It starts turning kind of brownish, but it hangs in there. It basically, if cream coat peels off, you screwed up on your prep work. That's just about all there is to say about that. Okay, she wants something and you're not getting a kick. Is she kind of short? I mean, is she shortish? If she is, 650 V Star or 650 Savage, S40 Suzuki, whatever era that you buy the bike from, that'll kind of dictate the name. But they never changed any damn thing on them. They're the same as they were in 1986, down to the last nut bolt screw, except for the stickers on the gas tank. I mean, they're a solid bike, and they're good for a beginner. Very lightweight, very skinny profile in the seat, where it's easy to get around the bike, manhandle it, and easy to get your feet flat on the ground. Preference on tires for big Japanese cruisers. Well, I have trash talked Shinko for about the last 15 years. I will freely admit that. But that's what I'm running on the Bastard Glide right now, and I have had some awesome luck with that new 999 long haul that they've got. I changed out my rear a couple of months ago from the initial pair that I put on there, and I've got it up at the shop. I use it as a hey, look at this tire, for customers. I legitimately have about 24,000 miles on that tire, and it wasn't like slick in the middle. I mean, it had just started getting into the wear bars, but considering the miles I put on it, I can't bitch, man. If they've got fit sizing that fits what you're looking to put it on, give it a try, man. I really don't think that you would be dissatisfied with it at all, because they ride good, they handle good. Especially the profile they've got on the front tires. It's not real peaky to where it's not real nervous, but it does turn in pretty quick. It makes the steering effort quite a bit lighter. And, plus also, with that kind of mileage, it's kind of hard to beat, man. Jack, I have caught my hair on fire making breakfast in the morning. Yes, I've caught my hair on fire working on a bike. Not working on cars. Fell off the roof when we were putting a roof on mom and dad's house up in the mountains about 20 years ago. And the only thing that saved me was a big pile of blow in insulation that dad had stacked up on the trailer. So, yeah, shit happens, man. All right, man. I appreciate you stopping in to say hey.
Tell me what direction.
Okay, 5'7". Well, if she's got that kind of altitude on her, you might consider something a little bit bigger, like the 750 Shadow back here. That honestly, that is kind of my go-to for starter recommendation bikes these days, because they got enough legs under them where they can comfortably cruise highway speeds, but they're forgiving enough for a new rider to be able to get comfortable and get solid on them and everything. Plus, they're real low maintenance. They've got a couple of small quirks to them, but after 2010, I believe it was, after they made the jump to fuel injection, they're pretty dumbbell simple. Just feed them a regular diet, and gas, and don't let them sit and rot, and they'll run forever. Don't give me that look. I'm reading.
Read faster.
I'm getting the stank eye from the life unit here.
It doesn't stink.
You guys are going to have to wait on seeing the new play toy. It'll make an appearance, I promise. You'll get a kick out of it when it does. Huh?
You played with it.
Well, yeah. Well, hell yeah, it's mine. I played with it. Oh, you're talking about the lightsaber. Okay. Clarity is a good thing. Man, the thing is, on the Pirelli Night Dragons, we have some guys that come in the shop looking for them, and we change a few of them out here and there. The mileage potential, I just don't see it being there with them. Honestly, I think they're kind of overblown from a price point, and also the hype of what everybody thinks that they're like the end all be all of motorcycle tires. Man, on iron heads, it just if it's got a right hand shift, it's got to be an old one where it's got a distributor. That's the only way it looks right. If you got a left shift iron head, or if you got a right shift iron head that's got a regular nose cone on it, that feels kind of weird to me, man. I mean, if the shifter's going to be on the right side, like on a Triumph or something, it needs to have a distributor poking up out of that thing. Well, you can buy an older shovel head motor and do a complete rebuild, and yeah, it's going to be expensive because the shovel is the new hipster Harley of choice these days, unfortunately, and it is driving the prices up. And we're not even going to talk about pan heads. Hey, Bubba, when you come back out, I've got a bottle of pop in the door of the fridge. Would you please grab that for me, please?
Well, when I come back out, I'll bring it to you anyway.
Oh, well, thanks. Appreciate it. Let's see here.
You were talking with Jason.
I know I was talking to Jason. I'm trying to catch up on my reading, babe. Oh man, you're talking about pulling that red shit out of a victory tank. Here to tell you, brother, you ain't gonna dig that. The best way that I've found for getting that crap out, honestly, if you've got like a newer-ish victory where it's got the big porthole in the bottom, you can get your hand up in there. Get your hand up in there with like a scrubby brush or some coarse steel wool or a Scotch-Brite pad or something. Knock as much of it loose that way as that you can, and then after that, thank you, appreciate that. Found a little gem on the way home. Figured I'd indulge, but after that, uh, literally slobber the thing down with Vaseline, old school Vaseline, petroleum jelly. That way you build up a barrier because you're going to have to plug that port in the bottom, and you're going to have to pour a couple of quarts of the MEK substitute, since you can't buy legit MEK from Lowe's anymore. You got to go to like a specialty chemical supply house or a place that handles parts washer solvent like Safety Clean or something like that. But the stuff from Lowe's will work just as good for this. pour a couple of quarts of that in there, and you're going to have to shake it about a little bit. That's why you put the Vaseline on there. That way it protects your paint, because it's still just aggressive as hell on paint. But that'll eventually float it loose, and you may have to do some more scrubbing, but it'll take it out of there, and then you can prep and recoat as usual. Dude, you ain't lying about pans becoming the new rich man sporty these days. Thing is about shovels and everybody, jumping on them saying that's the last true vintage Harley motor. Most of the shovels that everybody's, digging up out of the bushes these days, it's the stuff that everybody cast aside 20 years ago, and they're like, oh, it's AMF Harley, it's junk, it's bullshit, it's a bowling ball company. It's a shovel head. I don't give a damn who made the damn thing, because all of them got engineered with a slide rule and a Stanley tape measure. I think there was about 3 micrometers in the whole damn plant when Harley first started designing and building the shovel head. 2 of them were out of calibration, and somebody dropped the third. I mean, some of the clearances in those motors, you can measure them with a damn pocket ruler. I ain't even going to get on that nitwit that shot up some junk ass old Road King for views and a payday on YouTube, because that's, in my opinion, is all that was. Well, I ain't diving into that pool, son. What? I know, right? Gas station I stopped at, I actually looked to see if they had a moon pie, and they didn't. Communist bastards. What? I don't do sign language, babe. Let's put it this way. Very little of your sign language is shit I understand.
That's because it's actual ASL.
What? She's trying to communicate with me, and I have no idea what she's trying to say. But, dude, cherry RC. That's like my kryptonite. Anything with cherry in it. I mean, that'll make my skin crawl. What? Yeah.
But that's how it's
I'll be honest with you. That's how I self-educated on how to do Holly 2 and 4 barrel stuff, back in high school. That's how I made my walking around money for a while during my junior and senior year in high school, was building carburetors for the dirt track guys that run on Saturday night. Because their methods of tuning involved a hammer and a crescent wrench, and that was about all they had. Jason, that's always a possibility, because I could fall asleep in a wheelbarrow, dude. There's been plenty of nights where I passed out on the couch, and that's where I woke up the next morning, because she was smart enough to leave me there. Tommy, I got a whiteboard. The only problem is it's up there on the garage door right now, and she's short, so she can't reach it. CB900C? Yeah, I got one in the shop right now. It's back. But yeah, man, I've worked on a few of those old things. Tommy, I'm going to tell her you said that. Man, are you talking at Bob's Basic? Are you talking about Crawford Speedway up off 59 Highway? If you are, oh Lord, man, I couldn't tell you how many times I pissed away money in the 50-50 raffle up there at that place. We had a Saturn that we did some unholy amounts of abuse to at that track too. Actually, that car got totaled twice, and both times was at Crawford Speedway. Yeah, Salty Badger, you ain't kidding there, man, because people start looking at you funny when you're doing that. I ain't gonna lie, man. FZ1's a solid ride. Just get one that's not been beat to crap by some nerdy 22-year-old kid that thinks wheelies are life, and you're in good shape. Hey, Flash, that copper wool stuff, copper chore boy. You can find it at Walmart. Thing is, you got to make sure that you're getting the pure copper because a lot of the stuff that's out there now that's not the Chore Boy brand, it's actually copper plated steel wool and it disintegrates, it falls apart. VTX 1300 is a solid bike, dude. 1800, you know, the 1800s to me just feel kind of big and chunky. The 1300 handles a whole lot better. You know, it's just it's kind of like going from a Sportster to a Fat Boy. That's the best analogy I can give you there. Buck, it has been too long since I've been to an Outlaws race, man. That would be a blast, dude. And definitely hit me up because I am totally down for that. All right, Skittles. Love you, hon. I'll see you next trip, okay? Y'all give me a holler whenever you get those boots in. John, I've tried doing that a couple times, and the thing is, I kind of get lost in the sauce, if you will, whenever I'm driving somewhere, and all of a sudden, I've been riding along for 20 minutes, like, oh damn, I've been jamming along with my tunes in my headset, and I haven't said a damn thing. So it's kind of one of those things I'm working up to. You know a guy that knows a guy. I know how this story ends, Buck. Well, dude, if you're feeling cramped on like a Rocket 3 or a Road King or something like that, how tall are you? In the words of the immortal R.D. Mercer, how big a boy are you? Yeah, no kidding, dude. That was some crazy shit. We were not prepared for that. I happened to look out the back door of the shop yesterday evening and I'm like, wow, y'all come here and take a look at this. Man, if you guys are talking about RT 1100 Beamers, yeah, y'all are gluttons for punishment for sure. I've done clutches and training services and those things before, and basically, whenever you've got to fold a motorcycle in half to get the gearbox out to where you can put a clutch in there, that's not really that damn fun. Okay, 6'2", you're about my size. Just to throw it out there, on my roadie, I made a set of extension brackets where I pushed the floorboards 3 inches forward, but also I angled them up by 10 degrees from what their original mounting angle was, and that made a world of difference for me, man. And I totally get you on the hip problem because I've got to rebuild myself. Well, yeah, man, you're 6'5" on a bike that was originally designed for somebody in the 5'8" range. Okay, that's one thing I absolutely hate about Harley's bagger models. every time I get on one, I always get my feet caught up in the saddlebags or the trunk whenever I'm climbing on board or getting off of one and everything because they're designed for short folks, man. Everything's all squinched together. Bob's Basic. Yep, you got it. This is Phil and Brent and R.D. Mercer from Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was a good show to listen to back in the day. But yeah, and I feel your pain on that Trigger 1400 too, man. I mean, whoever designed the carb setup on the 800 and the 1400s, they need to be shot. Ain't no worries, man. I mean, end of the day, if a bike don't fit you, a bike don't fit you. And it takes a hell of a lot of fun out of it. But there's some workarounds that you can do pretty easily to where you can change stuff like seats, bars, floorboards, your foot position, things like that. You just got to back off and look at it a little bit. Yeah, Wayne, we used to have R.D. Mercer albums playing on loop at the Napa I used to work at right when I was out of high school, man. I mean, that stuff would last for days. And then somebody would be like, hey, we haven't listened to the radio in a week. Oh, yeah. But so, anyways, got some parts that are supposed to be showing up for the Scabby Sporty tomorrow. So we'll get something going on that thing over the weekend. And that way we can get this thing down on the ground and get it moving under its own power here before too long. Hey, brother, if you got a 77 cone sporty that's a ride shift, if it's working for you, it's working for you. I can't argue with that. Just it's a me thing. Now, my brain's weird like that. Most people these days, they have absolutely no clue what a circuit breaker on a they look at it and be like, what's that? Is that a horn? No, that's the distributor of sorts. Oh God, Jerry Clower, Arnell, Raynell, Debiel, Odell, Marcel, Claude, Eugene, and Clovis. No, I never heard of him. Michael Lambert. Well, hey man, thanks for stopping in from Indiana. Appreciate you stopping by. Hey, thank you, Buck. I appreciate that, brother. I'm kind of technologically impaired, and to be totally honest with you, I would be absolutely shit out of luck, and you guys would never see me on YouTube if it wasn't for the beloved wife unit over here. Uh, she prefers to remain off the radar, so to speak. But I mean, she's computer big brain. She does stuff with this shit that I'm just like, uh-huh, okay. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, dear. I mean, seriously. I mean, she has bailed my ass out of a jam so many different damn times I could not even begin to describe it. And actually, we did a little bit of playing around the other night out here in the garage, and she did some homework and she come up with a few tweaks to the intros and outros of the videos. I think you guys are really going to dig it, man. I mean, it's some really top shelf shit. I'm proud as hell for that. Well, maybe to you it may be software. To me, it's fucking voodoo black magic that you usually don't find unless you go into the deep swamps of New Orleans and you find some woman, that's got, like a crow's foot hanging from her damn earlobe and she's got a black cap tooth and a mojo bone.
There's gators there. You're not going to make it,
There's gators in Florida.
which is why you're not going to make it.
22. Solves a lot of problems. Oh man, don't get me started on the Murray dual carb setups. Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I can gold plate a turd and tell you it's a special edition, and I can put it in a box with a big price tag on it. And because it's a special edition and because it's gold plated, a lot of people think it's worth more. End of the day, it's still a turd. So that's kind of my thoughts there. Yeah, you ain't kidding about the Beamers being a pain in the ass. I have a R12 or a K1200 LT, the touring model, looks like a giant rolling suppository, and I absolutely despise that bike. I need to throw some money into it to where I can clean it up, do what needs to be done with it. That way I can put it out for sale because I have not ridden that bike in 6 years now. That's how much I do not enjoy that motorcycle. Yeah, Buck, you got that right. Wayne, you never know. Maybe, man. I mean, it was kind of a weird look whenever, all these long beard, scruffy guys started showing up at the auto shop at our high school, on lunch break and started asking around. The establishment kind of took note of that after a while and they put a stop to it. So I kind of had to move my little side gig off site, so what 250 to 450 do you like? Simple. 90.
Still do.
Yeah. Dual Mikuni intakes for dynos. Well, it's kind of the same reason why people dropped 50 grand on a big dog back in the day. Okay. I mean, compensation much? Stickers? Yep, I got them. I got one. Okay, we're not all high speed and fancy here, but if you want one, give me a shout over on Patreon, and shoot me a DM over there, and I will do what I can do to get something in the mail to you, there, brother. Bob, not gonna lie here. My dad was the picturesque 1970s era truck driver looking dude. I mean, big old rodeo buckle, pearl snap shirts and vest, even if it was 110 degrees in the shade outside. And I miss that man more than I can ever put into words. I talk to him every damn day, but God Almighty, if he didn't look like a extra from the movie Convoy, I don't know a better way of describing him. Oh, brother, Binary Bond '07. Yeah, I totally agree with you on your R1200C, man. What were they thinking when they decided they were going to sell that bike, dude? Putting a 90 style supercharger on a new M8. Well, you better beef up the Honda Davidson motor before you start strapping a blower on the side of it, or else something ain't going to be happy for too awful long. Oh, you mean a hypercharger, not a supercharger? Hyperchargers are hot garbage. Shop I used to work at in Tennessee, we had a couple of milk crates full of those damn things that we'd taken off of bikes. Draw your own conclusion. You will actually make better horsepower on a factory breather on most V twin bikes than you will with a hypercharger. It's physics. You can't get around that shit.
You understand physics?
A little bit. Thank you for that. I love you, Pop. Oh, my K1200's a '01, and it's one of the flying brick motors where it's a four banger, but it lays on the side and all four point to the left. So you get that glorious, smoke cloud slash skeeter beater fog, whenever it more than a day or so with it on a kickstand. It's one of those things where you almost have to park the thing on the center stand every single time, or else everybody's going to giggle and point at you and look at you funny whenever you start the thing up. Hey, Buck, I got you at the camp out, man. We will definitely meet up there. But let's see here. Salter Badger, I have had a few similar instances, and then luckily I bought a house with a garage space, and that is probably one of the key things to our marriage lasting as long as it has. When she found carburetor parts in the dishwasher, that was not a good sight. Yeah, Jason, yeah, you nailed it right there, man. You freaking nailed it, man. All right, Bob, take off, brother. I appreciate you stopping in, man. And actually, on that note, guys, we are going to kind of start wrapping this thing up here because I got to put Mama Bear to bed because she's got an early morning tomorrow, earlier than usual, because usually her day starts at like 5:30 in the morning with the schedule that she's on right now. But Shepsy, I'll be looking for you there at the camp out, brother. Uh, yeah, yeah, you ain't talking. You ain't kidding about an R1200 CLC being a weird looking bike, dude. Yeah, I put some Holly parts in the dishwasher, and I thought I got away with it, but I forgot to take them out. So, yeah, yeah. Putting welder in the stove outlet. Hey, Tommy, if you're checking out, brother, I'll see you on the next trip, man. Lucky Dog, Niners man, Silent Storm. I appreciate that. We may start doing a lot more live streams. This is kind of a new thing for me, and I was like, well, what the hell? Let's take a stab at it and see what happens. Shepsy, Niners, Johnny Little, camp out is the last weekend in October before Halloween. Don't know the exact dates right now. Isn't it like the 24th, 5th, and 6th, I think? But it's the last weekend. It's the last weekend before Halloween in October. Eli, Niners to you, man. Man, on my LT, you always had the twitch whenever you did a throttle blip, but it never really seemed that much different than on a boxer motor. So I don't know. All right, John. Love you too, brother. Good night, man. I'll tell you what, guys. I am going to go in the house and overnourish myself a little bit as well. And like I said, I got to put the dearly beloved wife into bed here because she's got an early morning. I will look forward to you guys on Monday evening in the live comments on the chat with the new Ramlin Park that's going to be coming out Monday night at 7:30, and we'll get together and we'll do this shit again here real damn soon. Okay, had a good time with this. Really, I did. Um, didn't feel quite as socially awkward as what I thought it did, but just enough to keep things interesting. So we'll build from there.
Well, you can flirt. Well, no, you can't, but you can be awkward and we'll take it from there.
I can take my shirt off if that'll make y'all feel better. No, I ain't gonna do that, y'all. But anyway, yeah, Shelby, 13th bar revenge. All right, you got your weekends flip flop, man. All right, Honda 420, night, man. All right, guys. Well, I will give y'all a heads up next time we do this, and I'll try to give you a couple days worth of heads up. How about that? So, at the end of it all, I love y'all. Appreciate you guys hanging around. Thanks. This was cool. I had a good time with this. So look forward to doing it again with you real soon. All right. So y'all be safe. Have fun. If well, if you can't be good at it. So yeah, we'll leave it on that. Night, y'all. I'll catch you on the flip side.